Before we begin, I'd like to do some housekeeping. Firstly, there's going to be more than 10 items on the list. It can't be helped. Secondly, there are two criteria for the animals being on this list, which are as follows. One, they are either a banned dog in the UK, which means following the 1991 Dangerous Dogs Act, there will be no breeding in any shape or form, no exchange, no promotion, no cultivation, nothing of these dogs. Or alternatively, they're on the Irish list, which means the owner must be over 18 years old, the dog must be licensed, and the person must be licensed. The dog must be on a leash, and it must have a muzzle on it. Oh, the leash must be less than 2 meters and strong. These are very sensible ideas, and I hear you asking, why am I a proponent for restriction of dogs? The reason being is I'm a dog lover, and eventually these dogs, which we love very dearly, their family pets, will be banned, like the XL Bully. The one question that does spring to mind is, how can we walk dogs on a 2-meter leash? Well, you can't. If you get licensed, then they will check where the animals are kept, and if you do not have a large yard, maybe an acre or so, or somewhere you can let the dog off the lead, then you should not be able to be in control or purchase one of these animals. Simple as that. In at number 11, we have the Tosa. Now, it's a Japanese fighting dog. It's a large dog. It can get up to 24 inches. It can weigh up to 200 pounds. And it has a relatively long life for a larger dog. 12 years is a long life. Now, it's a fighting dog. It's bred to fight. And for that reason, it was never going to be a family-orientated, friendly dog. I don't care what any of you say. This is not a dog that should be in a family with small children. It has its place. It can be utilitarian, a working dog. It can be a protection dog. But in England, it is completely banned. This dog is not on the streets in England, and it will be restricted in Ireland. In at number 10, we have the Bullmasstiff. Now, you may be asking, why is it on the list? I have said already that in Ireland it is classed as a restricted dog. In England, you see them quite often. So what do we know about it? It's an English dog, and its original purpose was a guard dog. It's in the breeding group of a working dog. The height is 24 to 27 inches, so it is as a male dog, and 22 to 25 as a female. It is a large dog. It weighs between 100 and 130 pounds, so it is lighter than the Tosa, and its lifespan is slightly shorter, which is a shame, 8 to 10 years. Now, it is calm, gentle, loyal, and protective, and I can say to you wholeheartedly, I have had these dogs. I have been in the company of these dogs many times in my 5 decades on this planet, and I have never had an incident with them, and they have been around children. That does not mean that they should be left around any children on their own. That should never happen, and if you're a sensible adult, you should never do that. In at number 9, we have the Doberman Pinscher. Now, it's on the list because it is in fact restricted in Ireland. In England, it's an everyday sight, and I love these dogs. I love all dogs. I don't care how dangerous they are. Dogs all deserve a chance. That aside, I'm going to say something. These dogs were bred in 1890 by a German tax collector called Karl Friedrich Louis Doberman. He was a night watchman, a dog catcher, a keeper of a dog pound, and these were bred to assist him in collecting money. So I think they've got 110 years of this attitude being bred into them. So we always need to be careful. We always have to be careful. Beautiful dog. In at number 8, we have the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. It's on the list because it's actually restricted in Ireland. This may come as a surprise to some of us in the United Kingdom or Great Britain, because it is a family dog. It's loyal, loving, very, very affectionate little bundle of joy, and I know this from personal experience. However, I have had, my second daughter was attacked when she was 4 years old, and I dealt with it, and I don't blame the dog, and I never will. What I do have to say to you though, it might be a good idea for us to bring in the restrictions that they have in Ireland, because if not, this dog, through the bad ownership, will end up being banned in the UK. In at number 7, we have the Rhodesian Ridgeback. Now, it's on the list because it is in fact a restricted dog in Ireland. Now, what do we know about the dog? Well, its other name is the African Lion Hound. It's renowned for its exceptional strength, its endurance, and its loyalty. And it's not uncommon to see them. Uncommon is a bit of a strong word. It's not unusual to see them in the UK or Great Britain. But what I will say to them with regards to them being a dangerous dog, they do have their moments. And do you remember Lawrence Delalio, the England rugby player? Well, his son, his six-year-old son Enzo, was attacked by the family pet, which was then actually put down. So they aren't innocent, and they shouldn't, as I've always said, no dangerous dog, 100%, should be left alone with a child. Number 6, we have the German Shepherd. Now, the German Shepherd is restricted in Ireland. It's a working dog, and it was created at the turn of the 1899, so 1900. It was created as an improved German herding dog. Nowadays, it is primarily, I'd say 90% of people in the UK have these as working dogs. That is, they're working with the police, they're working with security, airports. They are very scary looking dogs if they're on point and you get in front of them, but they are usually and generally well trained. But there have been several attacks in the UK. The last one I know about was in June in London, when a German Shepherd mauled two men and one boy at 9 o'clock in the morning. That aside, I don't hear much else about them, if I'm being honest. But what I would say to you is these could be put onto a restricted list, and it would be better for the future of the breed, because if some idiot does come into possession of these dogs, they are weapons. These are weapons. So to avoid that, I think it would be sensible to put this kind of dog onto the restricted list. In at number 6, we have the English Bull Terrier. Now, they're a familiar sight on the streets, but they are in fact restricted in Ireland. These guys here are, as a rule, friendly. They're good family dogs. They're very affectionate, but they are very powerful terriers. They're extremely powerful. And if you look up there, you can see that they have been involved in several attacks. Well, this is just one of them. But again, this video is not to show how bad these dogs can be. It is to show you perhaps that restriction is a way forward, because there are idiots who will come into possession of dogs and he will ruin it for everyone else. So these little dogs here, 99% of the time, will do no damage to anyone, but they are capable of it. In at number 4, we have the Akita Inu. Now, this is the Japanese Akita, not the American Akita. It is on the restricted list of Ireland. Now, the Akita is a large dog, and the males can weigh up to 130 pounds. This is a big old dog. It's muscular, it's double coated, and it is of ancient Japanese lineage. This is another dog that is used on occasions to fight in Japan, where it is legal. Dog fighting is legal there. It's also, just so as an aside, it's also legal in Albania, it's legal in Russia, and I think Turkmenistan. I'm not sure. Double check that one. That aside, they're burly, heavy-boned, Spitz type dogs of imposing stature. Now, as a rule, because there are so few of them in the country, you hear of fewer attacks, but the attacks can be quite severe. If you look up there, that story doesn't paint the full picture, but there's a young girl, 8-year-old, and her face has been ripped off, and that's me putting it politely. You need to have these dogs on some kind of restricted list so that we can look after the dogs and they can look after us. In at number 3, we have the Fila Brasiliero. Now, this is a Brazilian Mastiff. It is banned completely from Great Britain, but you can see them on the streets in Ireland because they are on the restricted list. This may cause some of you to wonder why there is a dangerous dog walking about Ireland. But as I've said already, the dogs, if they are restricted, the owner is over 16, they are licensed, the dog is muzzled, and it must be on a lead shorter than 2 meters. It's a shame because these dogs are glorious, majestic animals when they are looked after by the correct person. In at number 2, we have the Dogo Argentino. Now, this animal is banned completely throughout Great Britain. It is on the restricted list in Ireland because it is a Mastiff. Now, a brief history of this dog is that it is native to the province of Cordoba in the Mediterranean region of Argentina. Its creator was Dr. Antonio Nores, a prominent and active surgeon. Now, his work was based upon the methodical crossbreeding of the old fighting dog of Cordoba, a breed of great power and strength, and then crossbreeding him with bulldogs and bull terriers. Now, this dog was bred to fight. That's all it was done. So when the 1991 Dogs Act was brought about, the 4 dogs that were bred specifically for fighting, there was a blanket ban. I do understand it. I would love to see these dogs in the country. I would, but I would always be wary of it. So at least they need to be restricted, but I'm actually on the side of banning dogs that were specifically for fighting. It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Before we get to number 1, I'd just like to stop for a second and say condolences to the family of Mr. Ian Price, the 52-year-old who died this week after being attacked by the XL bullies. I'd also like to say to the rest of the dog owners who have XL bullies, I am sorry for you too, because at the end of the day, there's a very good chance that your dogs would have gone through life, would have sailed through life without doing anything of this kind. And you now have to get your dog registered, which I will get into, but unfortunately this will be the last generation of XL bullies we have. That is a sad shame. Now, that aside, as for registration, it's a way forward that we can keep our dangerous dogs under control. We can stop idiots from owning dogs and owning weapons and having them banned. So please have a think about this, and then maybe in future when it does come up, we can all get our heads together and agree on having a restricted list of dogs. In at number 1, we have the American Pitbull. Now, this dog is banned, and it has been banned since 1991. And if you could put a dog's face on a tin of being banned in the UK, it would be the Pitbull. We all know what he looks like. We know what he's capable of. And I also know how wonderful a dog they are. And I remember having a lot of good times with them, but also some frightening times, I'm not going to lie. That aside, the dog is only restricted in Ireland. And I'm going to tell you one more time what a restriction in Ireland entails for the parent of a dog. These dog breeds must be muzzled and on the lead when in public at all times. The lead must be strong and short, no more than 2 meters long. The dog must wear a dog collar with the owner's contact information on it, and the dog must be licensed and microchipped. Only adults over the age of 18 are allowed to own a restricted beast breed, Freudian slip. Anyway, also as well, it's over 18. This is the up-to-date one. So they must be over 18 rather than 16, which is even better. We've arrived at the end of another video, so I'd like to thank you. If you could like, share and subscribe, I'd be very grateful. See you very soon.